We're here at World of Concrete 2022, back with Jared Telford at MSB Form. Jared, talked to us about the ABC system. So this is the one that kind of got it all started, right?
Yep. So this is the one that got it all started. If you think of A being the smallest, B then C, they stack on top of each other. And I just want to go through. So they do from 6 inches all the way up to 5 foot in the one system. So we can imagine finished floor being here. We just use the bottom insert here for 6 inch and 8 inch off the ground. We still screed and finish through here. 12 inch, 10 inch, we would use one insert for 10 inch, turn up the other way, 12 inch, 14 inch, 16 inch, 18 inch, 24 inch cam. What you would do is run a vertical stiff back off your box form here, and you can do comfortably 24 inches with one frame. Then when we move into 2 foot walls, we would go 2 stacked on top of each other, which would be A and B, or B and C. If we wanted to move into a 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, we move into A, B and C stacked on top of each other. I usually sell them in a combination. A suggested combination would be 60 A frames, 20 B frames, 20 C frames. So that allows you in one whole system to do 4,000 square feet, a minimum height up to 12 inches, 24 inches, or you can do 5 foot walls with the same system all in the same job.
One of the first things that jumped out to me as soon as I first started learning about the system was the ability to be able to set the stake back away from the edge of our slab or our footing or whatever it is that we're building. In this application, we're obviously doing a single-sided wall or large mat footing. If you look right over here, the ability to be able to set the stake back away from the edge, so as we're screeding off here, we can run our screed over the edge of the form. You can be able to run your trowels or finishing or whatever it is that you're doing. You can be able to run right over the edge. We're not worried about running trowels into our stakes. We're not worried about hitting a big expensive piece of equipment on a stake that's setting up right on the edge of the form. So one of the first things that jumped out to me is how much more efficient this makes us placing and finishing concrete. Just simply being able to have the stakes back away from the edge of the form. This is the first system that I've ever seen that's able to do that.
They also do a brick ledge.
We're insetting a 4-inch brick ledge or something like that. We can be able to set the forms at 2 different intervals to be able to back set for that. So rather than coming and building a void, we can do it right in our form. Another thing that I really loved about the system, as soon as I saw it, being able to set up, and let's say for some reason there's some sort of obstruction, the guys have difficulty, maybe the guy just can't see straight and doesn't get the form all set up. We've all seen that before. You go look down and the form's not even straight. Nice thing about this system, the guys can drive these in, drive their stakes, and then be able to adjust the front of this to be able to adjust the form where they need it to go.
So for instance, if the carpenter or the surveyor has had that measurement wrong, instead of currently any other system on the planet, you have to pull down and start again.
Tear everything apart.
With this, you would just move your string to where you need to.
So rather than having to tear all the stakes out, instead of having to move everything, simply adjust a few bolts, pull the form out, boom, we're ready to go. All right, Jared, talk to us about the setup process. What does this look like here, basically?
So if you can imagine, this is just a mini version of a slab setup. So you'd always have your batter board set to 1/2 inch above finished floor, as you normally traditionally would. Imagine this is not 16 foot, this is 15 foot, and then you've got another return there at 50 foot, 100 feet, whatever your slab layout is. It's just a mini version of this. So at every corner, you start off and put one frame at the end of the corner, one frame in the other corner, and then we string line in between. So what we're doing by that is we're taking out as much human error as we can because we've got the line and the height. These inserts were designed to turn on a clock face, so as the ground undulates, there's no reason why anything should be above that line. You just turn your clock face down. For example, sideways. So as a general rule, I start off at 4 inches back. So if we do have that surveyor issue, we can undo them and come 4 inches, or we can undo them and go in another 4 inches, which predominantly it's always a stud wall that's out, or the thickness of your board. So this is your elevation stake, so you need to get that in good hard ground. We would be going in 6 to 8 inches, no more. Sand, 12 inches, and it will hold. So I stand over top of it. I know I'm back from the open footer here, for example. What you've got is a magnetic level that'll always tell you that your form is square and 90 degrees and plumb. You don't have to be right on with that level. Half a bubble on a builder's level is straighter than you'll ever get a wood stake or nail. Lift it to height, so because I'm 1/2 inch above finished floor, I want to go 1/2 inch below finished floor. Lock it off. You can see it's wobbling around a little bit because this is the booth, but that's okay. Now the first one's locked off and it sits there, and you can actually reset. You can assess where you are, put the back rod in, grab your hammer, square around to the line till you're perfect with the line. And you can have a little bit of play here. You've got about 1/2 inch play in there so you can get it bang on. Lock it off.
And because of this, we're creating a different activity where we're actually setting the elevation of the stake without having to be set on where we're getting the front of a form, because we can now adjust that with the front of the tool.
So now I go to, depending on what your form, your edge you're using, we're using 2x here, but it doesn't, it could be box form, could be whatever, Simon's. But let's say for this instance, we're using 1.5 inches. Lock it off. Having that string line there at just above finished floor takes a human error of when you look down that plate, you should be smack on that. Then just push out the bottom one and eye down. You don't need a level on that because you're already level there. And then I walk down the other end of the 50 feet. So you need your carpenter doing the corners, and then you need anyone that can hold a sledgehammer to do the rest. And again, I'm not overthinking it, like, I'm just kind of looking at that level, but we've all banged stakes in forever. We know how to get a stake reasonably plumb. This just helps you fine tune it.
And again, we're not even concerned about exactly where the stake is going, because we can adjust on the front of it where the form is going to end up.
If you've got plumbing or pipe offset here, then you would know that you'll be further back or closer in if there's a wet spot, if the trench is blown out. The carpenter then moves on to the next return, the next return, the next return. The labourer just walks along now with, he's got his string there. All he needs to do is put his gaiter clips on at the very top, because then the elevation is set.
So one of the intentions with this system is to be able to make the labor as efficiently as possible, and they have to do as little thinking as possible. Once all the forms are set up around the edges, then you're just coming through and doing your infill. Almost nothing to think about.
So what we can do now is hang boards. Right, so it's ideal you do it with 2 or 3 people, but if you have to do it with yourself, you can take a laser level with you. So I'd laser it, move it to where I want with the laser, hold it there, lock it off. So I've left the frame out just to show, so the frames aren't moving, the board's bowing.
But one guy's able to set this all by himself.
If need be.
Yeah.
So for every 5 guys I used to have in our crews, we went back to 3, which meant you moved those other 2 to a new crew or somewhere down the line and expanded your business.
They're not putting any more days on the calendar, so you're able to take the same crew, do more work with them, more work, more money, more jobs. So very cool. Well, Jared, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Awesome system, MSB system. Come check it out at any American Construction Supply location. MSB Forms, Jared Telford, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.